Welcome to part 3 of my 3-part series on Chinchilla DeCastrated, receiving a ticket. Even if the AI voice gets annoying to you, please listen to the end of the video. I have a fraternity brother from college that I have turned on to Chinchilla DeCastrated. My fraternity brother is a psychiatrist with a practice here. Initially he found Chili to be tedious. But the more he watched, the more he became interested in the guy. We've had many spirited conversations about Chili since I've started making videos. He has offered me some psychological insights into Chilito's likely mental issues. I save condensing those insights until the end, so please don't stop watching until the end. As always, if you enjoy my commentary, and you'd like to hear more of my abbreviated law school lectures, then please consider subscribing to my channel. With that, let's pick up where part 2 left off. If you'll recall, Chili is driving down a California highway, on his way to Arizona. To recap what was covered in the earlier videos. He has repeatedly said that he is running late, for a dentist appointment, in Arizona. He was stopped, and ticketed, for driving 89 miles per hour in a posted 70 mile per hour zone. His speed initially put him in the reckless driving range, but the officer was only going to write it as speeding. However, after a solid 30 minutes of begging on Chilito's part, the officer reduced it even further, to only speeding 80 in a 70. Of course, Chili felt the officer should have only warned him to just slow down, and not issue a citation at all. Once Chinchilla got back on the road, he behaved like a petulant child. Basically thumbing his nose at the officer, and saying, "I'll drive however fast I want," and promptly set his cruise control at 82. He also activated his driver assist controls, and proceeded to treat it as if he had an autopilot in his minivan. He then let go of the wheel and continued to reply to his chat messages. He was paying more attention to the screen than to the road ahead. Now remember, he's running late. So that's his justification for speeding. But you just wait. There is more to see. With that said, let's roll the video.
Oh man, another copper, another copper. And this is going to be Teche line versus Danforth. I have every right to pull over.
Wrong. As I usually do, I'm going to approach responding to this ignorance with facts. And I'm going to attack it one piece at a time. First, he cites the case of Teche line versus Danforth. Teche line is a Mississippi Supreme Court case. It has no application in California, or any of the other 48 states that aren't named Mississippi. Let me make this totally clear for Chilito or any of his followers that might watch this video. Write this down, Chinchilla. Teche line is not applicable anywhere outside of Mississippi. So just take a big old magic marker and cross that out on your overpriced, indestructible trifold. Not only does Teche line not apply, it doesn't even say what Chili thinks it says. He has cherry-picked one single sentence out of it, and hung his hat on it. Case law doesn't work like that. You have to read the entire case. Chili would know that, if he had an education in the law, even as a pre-law undergraduate. But he doesn't. I'm not insulting people without a college degree. Plenty of people become successful without a degree. I am saying that Chili isn't one of them. He says he's an actor, but he's only had one bit part with any dialogue. He claims to be a director, but he has never directed anything. His IMDb page is pretty blank for someone who claims to be an actor/director. Chili barely graduated high school. He's a guy who lives in a van, occasionally crashes at other people's houses, and depends on other people giving him money for food and gas. The sad truth is that he's a wannabe actor, who is decent at remembering lines, but he's totally lacking in the skills necessary to read and interpret case law, or in giving anyone legal advice. Moving on. What I did find out, from my research is, that California has a very clear and concise law regarding stopping on the interstate. According to California Vehicle Code 21718, quote, "No person shall stop, park, or leave standing any vehicle upon a freeway for any reason other than an emergency," end quote. A link to the full statute is included in the description. Because there is a very explicit code section, as well as California case law, that prohibits anyone from stopping on the interstate, absent an emergency, Teche v. Danforth is not applicable, even in the slightest. Every time I hear Chili cite it, it reminds me how ignorant he is. Ignorance doesn't mean stupid. Ignorant means lacking knowledge or awareness in general, uneducated or unsophisticated. The problem with Chili is that when people who are more educated try to explain things to him, he simply discounts them by calling them dunce caps or other foul names. However, I'd put my resume up against his any day of the week, and 10 times on Sunday. So, who do you think the dunce cap really is? Teche is one of a number of things that Chili has written on his trifold that is 100% factually inaccurate. There are plenty of others, but this seemed like a good place to myth-bust one item on Chilito's trifold. Beyond the fact that the case means nothing in California. Arguing case law with an officer on the street is pointless and ignorant. Would you expect to argue with a Walmart cashier about child labor laws in Indonesia, where the shirt you are buying is made? It's pretty much the same. The officer didn't write the law, he only enforces it. If you feel that a law is unjust, take it up with the legislature.
And since I'm a little bit pissed off, I'm just going to let him know. Man, good thing for him. Good thing for him. Thank God we have him. Dude, thank God. Yes. Got her. Way to go, copper. Way to go. Good job, bro. You got her. Nice job.
I don't know about you, but I don't need to be a police officer to have been immediately concerned about a crazy man running up on me and yelling. Given the distance that Chili was from the officer, I would speculate that initially he could not hear exactly what Chili was saying. He just sees a crazy man yelling something as he is rapidly approaching the vehicle. If I were that officer, I would have at least put my hand on my taser. I would never advise anyone to ever approach an officer like Chili is doing. You'd stand a solid chance of getting tased, or worse.
You must feel like a real champion. Is he giving you a ticket? Is he giving you a ticket?
I'm not a female, but even I wouldn't feel entirely comfortable with a strange guy with a camera coming up to my car while I'm in the middle of an already stressful situation. Sure, I wouldn't worry too much about the weird guy doing anything harmful to me. After all, the officer is right there, but I wouldn't want a horrible moment in my life streamed all over the internet. Not only is Chili breaking California law by stopping his van when it isn't an emergency, he's also making the situation more dangerous to everyone present, and he's interfering with the officer performing his duties. Would you write Chili a ticket for stopping on the highway? Let me know in the comments.
Good thing for you. Listen, there's hardly anybody out here. I mean, once in a while a car passes, but they got you out here, bro. Thank God you're here, huh? You can try that, but I'm a constitutional law scholar.
No, he most definitely is not. He doesn't know sheet from shinola. He is so far from a constitutional law scholar. I'm more of a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, brain surgeon, rocket scientist, than Chili is a constitutional law scholar. Chili just memorizes a lot of nonsense, but he doesn't understand anything about what it means, or how to apply it. When someone with real legal experience hears Chili spout off his crap, it sounds a lot like a baby speaking gibberish. The funny thing is, he thinks it makes him sound intelligent, but to those of us who have the education and training to be lawyers, he sounds like a real dunce cap. It sounds like this. My dog, garbage bag, booster rocket, in the bathroom, with orange apples, and jumping, fired-up china cabinets, with mustard. It's just a bunch of word salad that means nothing.
Teche versus Danforth, 1943. I have every right to stop anywhere I want in the United States of America, and if you do it, I will sue your ass personally.
Once again, let's analyze this clip, one piece at a time. 1. Teche doesn't apply in California. Here is another example of an officer, knowing a great deal more than Chili, about the law. He has warned Chili that he's breaking that law, but of course Chili doesn't believe laws apply to him. That's part of his sovereign citizen shtick. 2. What is Chili going to sue him for? What would his cause of action be? To even consider suing anyone, first Chili would need to have 3 essential elements. I could list those elements in legal terms, but I'll just explain them as they apply to Chili. Ask yourself first, does Chili have a legal right to stop on the highway? No. Chili did not have any such right. In fact, his act of stopping is against the law. And we know that Teche means nothing in California. So, we could stop our analysis right there. But, let's play this out all the way. Did the officer stop Chili from engaging in a right that he was entitled to? Once again, the answer is no. The officer is advising Chili he is, in fact, breaking the law. Further, the officer doesn't have an obligation to allow Chili to break the law. And the officer would either have done something or failed to do something in violation of Chili's right to stop, which he doesn't have. So, Chilito's ridiculous threat to sue him is just hyperbole. Even if Chili did file suit, which he won't, it would immediately be dismissed for failure to state a cause of action. No one takes idle threats of, "I'll sue you," as anything but meaningless chatter. No lawyer in their right mind would take a case like that. I'm not even sure his idiot friend, Bobby Law, would take a case like that. Am I the only person who thinks Chili sounds like a 12-year-old boy who just lost a schoolyard fight when he says idiotic things like this? I'll bet Chili was the short, little kid who got beat up, and all he could do about it was stomp his feet and say things like, "I'll get you."
Oh, call for backup! There's a guy with a camera! There's a guy with a camera! Call for backup, piggy!
I can understand why this cop might want to call for backup. It has nothing to do with Chili having a camera, and everything to do with Chili obstructing this officer from doing his job. At this point, the officer is splitting his attention onto Chili, the passing traffic and the young woman in the car. This increases the risk of danger to all parties present.
I can't stand these filthy pigs. I'm really sorry they're giving you a ticket. I can't stand them. So just so you know, this is the 1943 case of Teche versus Danforth. What that says is that I can stop anywhere I want in the road. These filthy pigs, though, what they do is they pull you over for no reason. They pull you over for no good reason. You've never been pulled over before? Are you...
Is it just me, or does it seem like Chili is trying his damnedest to impress this girl? Doesn't she look a little too young to be flirting with? I think she looks between 18 and 25. Chili is 46. That's just creepy. I am only a few years older than Chilito, but in my day, we would say, he's got no game. He's just peacocking in front of a pretty girl, who likely sees right through him. He is behaving like a simp, not an alpha male. But, then again, Chili is an incel.
So I don't even know what I'm doing.
I mean, you got her, dude. You got her. Thank God. You got this babe. Dude, thank God you got this babe.
Wow. And you probably didn't think it could get any creepier. But wait. There's more.
Thank God. You better get, you know what? Let's cuff her up, dog. Let's cuff her up. Let's kidnap her.
I told you it could get creepier. Chili is talking about cuffing her up and kidnapping her. Do you think he might be secretly projecting his personal desires?
Huh? Huh? You can see it on Delete Laws. You're live right now. There's 350 people watching.
What? How do you?
Go to YouTube and go to Delete Laws.
Did you notice how she asked Chili if he was filming her? Or how uncomfortable she looked? Her body language showed that. She was nervously playing with her hair, and trying to see what was on his camera. I sincerely feel sorry for her.
Thank God for you, dude. I'm so grateful you exist. Without you here, dude, she would have probably killed somebody. You have saved the day today, Piggy.
Perhaps this officer has, in fact, saved the day. This girl is clearly quite young, so her experience handling a crisis situation behind the wheel is probably limited. She was speeding, a known cause of nearly 1/3 of all accidents. Perhaps by stopping her and issuing a ticket, she will slow down and an accident has been avoided. We'll never know. Also, remember that Chili was supposedly late for his dentist appointment. I've had to cut big portions of the original video. Chili wasted a solid half an hour to stop and yell at this officer. I guess he'll have to go back to traveling at 90 miles an hour again, if he's going to make it.
You have saved the day. Man, you feel safer? Do you feel safer? Good thing for you, Piggy. Good thing for you. Let me see your phone and shoes. What's that? Oh, you are watching. There it is.
I don't think Chili wanted to see her phone to verify that she was watching his channel. I think he wanted to put his phone number in it. What do you think?
Oh, sorry about that. What's your name? Ansel. Your name? My name is Chili. That is my phone.
In case you couldn't hear it, Chili asks her what her name was. She replied with her name, which I won't repeat, for her privacy. He replies with his name, and then the conversation gets garbled. It's during this time that I believe they exchanged numbers. It's just my opinion as a man, but I find this kind of sleazy. It's just how I handle my business, but I kind of limit my dating pool to women within about a 10-year window, either up or down, of my own age. Anything beyond that is suspicious to me.
Okay, Piggy, I gotta go. I gotta go see the dentist.
Stay a little bit longer?
Well, I mean, you're making...
You want to make sure she goes home safe, right?
I mean, you're not gonna... I mean, you don't kill them till the night. You
Why
don't...
are you leaving so soon?
You guys don't typically murder people till the night, and then you murder people like crazy. But this is your life, dude.
This is a ridiculous statement. Chili has no evidence that this particular cop has ever even pulled his weapon while on duty, much less ever shot anyone. To say that all cops are dangerous killers is like saying all bag boys are bad, because one crushed your bread or broke some eggs, one time. Are all baristas bad, because one made a bad cup of coffee once? Yes, there are bad police out there. There are bad people in every industry. There are bad doctors, bad janitors, bad auto mechanics, and bad police. If you can name a job, there are bad people working in that field. Nationally, there are over 800,000 police in active service. It is unfair and ridiculous to lump them all together because of the bad acts of a few. The vast majority of cops hate bad cops probably more than anyone. Bad cops make good cops' jobs harder. My past job experience put me in daily contact with police officers. I worked with literally hundreds of them. The vast majority of them are good, honest, and hardworking people.
Give me your card. You want to drive an interview?
I don't carry cards.
What's your name?
Officer Santano, California Animal Control, ID 18464.
Okay, so then
Phone number to my office, 760-540-0294.
540.
My lieutenant has kept McNamara.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
No, I'm
Over
just...
and out.
Chili doesn't want to do an interview. Whenever Chili speaks to anyone he disagrees with, he simply talks over them. He'd throw every single conspiracy theory he had in his head at this cop. It wouldn't be an interview, it would become a shit show, where Chili would only yell his well-memorized scripts at the officer.
You know more than me.
I do know more than you. I'm just helping you. I wanted to pull over and thank you, Piggy. Thank God you're here. Thank God for you, dude. I mean, look, tell me what else you're doing.
The officer is doing his job. Imagine that. He actually has a job. Driving around in a van, going from town to town, creating chaos, and fleeing from outstanding warrants, is not a real job. Being a police officer is a legitimate job. Does Chili pay taxes? Does Chili vote in elections? What does Chili really do for anyone? He's a skilled manipulator. He's an experienced grifter and con artist. He knows how to move money around to obscure its origins. But what has he actually accomplished? Nothing. And he never will. Liars gotta lie, and grifters gotta grift, I guess.
You're making money, you filthy pig, and this woman's the victim of you. You're the problem. You're the problem in our society. It's all you, dude. You are the problem. I mean, you literally are a pig, a welfare recipient, making money off the people of this country. No, you're a pig. You don't got to worry, there's 500 people watching, I'm not going to attack you, bro. You don't got, for officer safety, right? From what? Terry versus Ohio. Right, from Terry versus Ohio.
For a guy who wants to overturn Terry v. Ohio, he sure doesn't seem to understand it. What does the officer, keeping Chili from getting behind him, have to do with Terry? Nothing. The officer isn't trying to pat Chili down. He just doesn't want Chili getting behind him. Yes, that's for officer safety. But it has nothing to do with a Terry stop. The fact is, this officer doesn't know who Chili is. He has no idea if Chili is carrying a weapon or is dangerous. The officer is alone on the street. Traffic stops are one of the most dangerous situations that police find themselves in, and every officer working that beat knows it. They've all seen the videos of their fellow officers being attacked or killed during a traffic stop. They've received training in ways to minimize their risk, and not allowing a person to get behind them is one of the things they learn. Chili is yelling about it all being about officer safety, but I agree with that officer. He doesn't know who Chili is. He doesn't know if Chili has a gun or a knife. Chili has just been yelling at the officer, calling him a filthy pig. So if you put yourself in the shoes of the cop, would any sensible person want this raving lunatic behind them? I don't think so. So it only makes sense that the cop doesn't want Chili behind him.
Oh no, I actually am. Here's your ticket, ma'am. Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Go ahead, Piggy. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Oh, you're scared. Trust me, you are scared. Without the badge and gun, you'd be terrified of me, bro. You'd be dead set scared of me. Guarantee it, dog. Guarantee it.
I find this clip interesting for two reasons. First, it confirms my point, that there is a good reason to not allow Chili to get behind him. Chili has just confirmed that he is hostile. But psychologically speaking, it also tells us a lot about Chili. Chili is not a big man. He's physically fit, but he's also short, and he doesn't really weigh that much. Chilito feels small. He feels weak and powerless. He has overwhelming feelings of helplessness and inadequacy. He has been small all of his life. He has admitted that he was picked on as a young boy, and that even his nickname of Chili was originally meant as a taunt. As a young boy, he took up wrestling because he was being picked on for his size. Chili has been taking shit from other bigger, stronger, and smarter people his entire life. He counters those feelings by saying how tough he is. Telling the officer that he would fear him if he didn't have his badge and gun. The fact that he feels he has to say it out loud shows that Chili doesn't really believe that the officer actually does fear him, so he has to say it to try and convince the officer. I also think that Chili is performing for both the camera and for the young lady in the car. I don't think this officer is particularly scared of Chili, but he also doesn't want to take any chances either.
Victim, dude, let her go.
Oh, I'll let her go as soon as she's nice.
Oh, as soon as she signs off, you got to road pirate her.
Yeah.
Good for you, Piggy. Hey, you know what? That's another fine you can get for the state, bro. Another fine. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations, Piggy. Congratulations. I'm gonna grab a flyer out of my car. Just so you know, I'm going to grab a flyer so you don't get scared.
Just as long as you put it right there and you don't get close to me.
Oh, you're scared, right?
Yeah.
I know you are, trust me. I know you are.
Petrified.
I know you are. I know that for a fact. I'm getting a flyer for the girl, not for you.
Did you hear the sarcasm in the officer's voice when he said, "Oh yeah, I'm petrified"? So, why does Chili feel the need to keep trying to convince the officer that he's afraid of him? Because Chili knows, it's not true, but it's what Chili wants to believe. The cop is not even particularly paying much attention to Chili's presence. By ignoring his antics, the cop is reinforcing Chili's inferiority complex and feelings of powerlessness. Chili feels he should be the center of the officer's attention. But the officer is basically saying, "Oh, I'm so scared," with a heavy emphasis on the sarcasm. This is killing Chili inside. So he is telling the officer that he's someone to be feared or scared of. It's not working, so he keeps repeating himself. It also helps build Chili's image of himself. Chili feels small and powerless to actually do anything. But by trying to make the officer fear him, it subconsciously makes Chili feel big and powerful. I will expand on these feelings Chili has in my closing remarks of this video. Can you believe this ass clown is walking into oncoming traffic? Please note the number of cars that go whizzing past. Traffic might be light that day, but it's far from non-existent, as Chili describes it to be, earlier in the video. And now Chili is walking up to the driver's side window. Not even the cops walk out into oncoming traffic like that anymore. Chili is being incredibly reckless. Sure, you could say that he's only risking himself. But he's not. If Chili gets hit, the person who strikes him, who will probably survive it, will have to live with that for the rest of their life. As would the young woman in the car and the cop. Regardless, it's reckless and stupid.
Fuck him. Fucking pig. Disgusting maggot. Out here being a parasite. Out here stealing from people.
There are a lot of people who feel that same way about Chili. Ironic, isn't it? He yells about police taking money from people, and that's exactly what Chili does. He grifts money from people, selling overpriced trifolds and posters with useless and factually incorrect information on them. But even worse, by convincing people that he is going to create a non-existent app and getting them to, quote, invest in its development, end quote. He is the real thief and proven liar, who can't keep all of his lies straight.
That's my flyer. You want to invoke your Fifth Amendment right? Don't answer any questions. None. Just show him when it says I answer questions, just invoke your Fifth. Sign your ticket so he can make some money.
My hope is that young lady throws that trifold into the trash where it belongs. Nothing about it is worth the indestructible paper it was printed on. By signing the ticket, she is not pleading guilty. She is accepting service, that she has received notice of the allegations against her, and that she is aware of her court date. That's all. It's important that she be aware of the allegations, including the code section, that she is being charged under, so that she can prepare a defense. Of course, Chili would know that, if he were any kind of legal scholar. But again, he's not.
Did you get her money?
She's gonna have to gain some speed on the shoulder.
Well, I'm talking to her right now. I'm having a conversation.
You might want to do it on this end.
I don't have to do it right there. Tech Line versus Danforth says I have the right to travel anywhere in the United States of America, and you can't impede that right, pig.
Doesn't it get tiresome, listening to Chili? He just repeats his incorrect information, over, and over, and over again. I don't know why anyone believes his cock and bull nonsense. You don't really even have to watch him for very long to see that he's an idiot who thinks he's a lawyer because he watched a YouTube video or two. People like me, who have actually graduated from law school, seriously wish these internet shams would stop preaching lies and BS law. Chili would be the guy who claimed to be a rocket scientist because he watched Tom Hanks in Apollo 13 the night before. There is a lot of misinformation being spread on the internet, and Chili is one of the biggest offenders. He needs to leave the practice of law to the professionals.
This is your life. This is what you've amounted to. What's that? I'll walk you through it. You keep that, text me and I'll tell you. Okay, good luck.
So now we know for sure that Chili has given this young lady his phone number. But more importantly, he's offering to give her legal advice. Well, Chili's free legal advice is not worth what she paid for it. Which is nothing. Chilito's legal advice never works because he's always wrong. This young lady is likely to lose her case if she uses his legal advice. The bigger and more important issue to me is that other people listen to Chili on far more important cases. They will likely lose those cases because Chili doesn't know what he's doing, and the risk of harm to them is much greater. There is a reason that doctors and lawyers go to school for so many years and have to be licensed to practice. Because there is such a risk of harm to people who aren't trained in those fields. If you wouldn't listen to a guy in a garage who dabbles in surgery, why would you listen to a guy in a van who pretends to be a lawyer? Even a pre-law undergraduate knows more than Chili does about reading and interpreting a case. Everything Chili says shouldn't just be taken with a grain of salt, it should be taken with a whole bag.
I did give her a trifold. That's what I did. Just makes me sick.
I agree with Chili. It makes me sick, watching him peacock around like he knows what he's doing. He struts around like he's an expert on constitutional law, but there is a dozen people who point out his every error and mistake. I don't make videos on Chili because I hate him. I hate what he does. He cons innocent people out of their hard-earned money and leaves nothing but chaos and destruction in his wake. Then, he moves on to the next victim. The next sad story that he can capitalize on, to his financial benefit. He's a two-bit con man. And if it was all about suckers, just handing over their money, I probably wouldn't care. They can do whatever they want with their money. But he doesn't leave it at that. He tries to practice law, and that does do harm to innocent people. He clogs up the legal system, and he puts people who might have legitimate legal claims in jeopardy of forever having no claims for relief. He asks who his victims are. Those people are his victims. Just as you would consult a doctor for a medical problem, you should always consult a real licensed attorney for a legal problem. And stop listening to a chucklehead who lives in a van.
I'm still on time. I'll still make the dentist on time, but it just pisses me off. I just can't stand it. I just can't stand it.
If Chili had the 30 minutes it took for him to have been stopped for speeding, and another 30 minutes it took to prance around in front of a pretty girl, then why was he speeding in the first place? If he left in plenty of time, as he's now saying, he could have driven the speed limit the entire trip. He doesn't make any logical decisions.
It just drives me absolutely crazy. You know, you have a beautiful girl there. She's driving along. She's doing 85 is what she told me or something like that.
So she was doing 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, and Chili is somehow shocked that she got pulled over. It's insane the way his brain works. He's not logical. With Chili, the police are damned if they do, and damned if they don't. He's a walking contradiction. He complained when the police held back from killing the school shooter, but the police should have held back when they shot someone who was shooting at them. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. The rest of the video is just him driving, reading his chats and ranting about his hatred for all police. I'm going to cut all of that out and end the video with my closing thoughts. Chili has always felt small and inferior compared to others around him. As a boy, he took up wrestling. Wrestling made him feel athletic and big. If we believe that Chili really was once the subject of a no-knock warrant, then it's easier to understand why he does what he does. During that no-knock warrant, he was pounced on by a large group of police, who invaded his home, took him into custody and violated his personal space. I can imagine that, in that moment, he felt entirely powerless over the situation. He saw all these authority figures having all the control, and him having none. These feelings have never left him. He doesn't feel powerful enough to physically defend himself, that's why he usually carries a gun. He knows that in a physical fight, he is probably going to be dominated, just as those police dominated him in his apartment. He carries his gun to make himself feel more powerful. He has big emotions that he simply doesn't know how to deal with. He feels he deserves, or needs, something that is being deliberately withheld from him. Something he covets. And he is overwhelmed by his frustration and sense of injustice at being denied this thing. That thing is control. He knows he has no control over anything, and he covets that control. But he's not physically big enough to command any situation. So he lashes out in total frustration, stomping his feet and trying to appear as big as possible. That's also why he fantasizes about someday being a governor. He doesn't understand what powers a governor has, or doesn't have, but he thinks that if only he could be in that position, he would finally have the control he has always craved. Every human has what is colloquially known as their lizard brain. No, we don't really have a lizard brain living in our heads. It refers to the most primitive part of our brain, where the instincts that warn us of danger resides. The term lizard brain is actually a metaphor for the amygdala, the part of the limbic system, which is responsible for processing our emotions. Chili is a very base person. He lacks a lot of sophistication that comes with education, and proper social integration that comes from being around other educated people. It's been well documented that you often end up becoming like those you spend the most time with. For example, if you spend a lot of time with people who swear a lot, you're quite likely to become someone who swears a lot too. If you start going out regularly with drinkers, then there's a strong chance that you'll become a drinker. Children who grow up with parents who smoke tend to end up smoking too. And so on, and so forth. Chili surrounds himself with people who have had negative experiences with police, and likely have extensive criminal records. He purposely chooses to tune out anyone who doesn't share his viewpoint, that police are an oppressive force to be distrusted, hated and feared. The more he hears this repetitious stream of reinforcing language, the more he believes it to be true. That's how education works. Let me give you an example of this. When you were in elementary school, you probably learned the multiplication table by your teachers, constantly making you repeat them. Eventually, if your teacher said, "How much is 2 times 2?" you learned it was 4. In essence, this constant repetition of hating police is reinforcing his beliefs. Just as his constant repetition of his crazy wall charts is constantly reinforcing his beliefs in those mistakes of fact. Chili has some very real and very deep mental issues. The expert that I consulted said that from what he has observed, in watching over 20 hours of Chili's videos, is a person who could become dangerous. He said that Chili displays some sociopathic tendencies. That Chili has some very deep-seated issues, and possibly some PTSD from previous trauma. He highly recommends that Chili begins a program of intensive therapy immediately. The danger being Chili's growing feelings of inadequacy and anger. I would have to agree with my psychiatrist friend. He said he can't diagnose Chili directly without having met with him, but he is concerned about Chili being able to control his anger and frustration. He added that the stress of living a nomadic lifestyle is an added pressure on Chili's mental health. He feels like a more stable residence, with more traditional employment, in combination with intensive therapy, would be very beneficial to Chili. Again, I'd have to concur with my friend. I hope that I have given you a bit of educational information, and some things to think about. I know for a fact that I have provided enough commentary, and I've only used a small portion of his original video, to legitimately defend against any copyright strike Chili might try. As always, thank you for watching.